Okay, so there's been a topic I've been thinking about. I've got really excited about it, and so I am going to talk about it. I have been a dungeon master or game master since 1992, roughly. Most of the time, I have been a game master, although every now and then I got a chance to be a player on the other side of the screen. And being a game master is pretty rewarding, I must admit. These days, I typically spend 1 to 2 hours at the computer typing up notes, doing my research on monsters and other things, maps and whatnot, preparing for the next session, which might not seem like a lot to you folks, but I like to focus on the things that are important because, quite frankly, I have to end up improvising a lot of stuff because that's just the way that players play. If you're a veteran GM, you know what I'm talking about. But the thought occurred to me, what if, as a player, I spent an hour before each game session preparing for that session? And what do I mean is this. I review my character sheet. I review the mechanics so that I can refresh my memory. Like if I'm a spellcaster in D&D, it would be a good time to review and refresh my memory on some spells and how the way those spells work. If it's a lighter game like Fate, you have aspects and skills, okay. Pretty easy, but still, and stunts too. But particularly with your aspects, you can think about, well, how do I want these to come into play? Are these aspects really working for this character? Also, we can think about your character goals. What are my character's goals? Are they moving towards those goals? What are their motivations? Are those motivations really working out for this campaign? Are there things that have happened in the game that has affected my character and need addressing in my character's story? Also, we can think about the story campaign. What is going on in the campaign overall? How is this affecting my character? Who is behind the master plot? How is this affecting the other characters? Speaking of the other characters, what is my relationship to those other characters? How are they developing? What are their drives and goals? How can my character interact with the other characters to create a great story, a great bonding and connection? You see, there are things to think about. Not just mechanics, spells, rules, leveling up your character before you show up at the table, but there's a lot of story stuff too, both with the individual characters and the dynamics between the different characters at the table. Oh, including the NPCs in the game. Can't forget about the NPCs. They're important too. And just overall thinking about the big picture in the story and how your own character can be involved in moving that forward. There really is a lot to consider. And let me tell you, I believe that if you take the time, you don't have to take an hour, maybe 30 minutes before the session, look at your character sheet, review the notes that you took for the game, which please take notes for the game session. If you did all of that stuff, boy, oh boy, I believe that would enhance your character's impact at the table, both with the other players and definitely with the game master themselves. And thinking about this really makes me want to play. I'm really excited. I want to get the opportunity to be a player at somebody's table. I can work on this a little bit more and just see how that plays out. I really believe that if I spent the time to prepare like that, it would enhance my enjoyment at the table. It would enhance other people's enjoyment as well. My question for you is, what do you think about player preparation for the game session? I would love to hear your thoughts. I think this is a topic that people don't talk enough about. As a matter of fact, I don't see much talk about it at all. I wonder why that is. Maybe people just feel like as a player, they don't need to prepare like that. If you just make sure that your character is up to date, that's enough. And that, spend 5 minutes on that and not even think about the game, your character story, how you interact with other characters. Or that's not even enough. Maybe I just don't want to spend the time to do all that stuff. And I just update my character at the table and keep going. And I get that. I've been that player before, but it just isn't something that I believe is an expectation or a desire for many people that play D&D and other RPGs. They just like to show up at the table and roll some dice. But what would life be like if you did a little bit more? That's all I got. Hope to hear from you folks soon.